Babbity Rabbity and Her Cackling Stump, adapted by Brennan Brooks. Once upon a time there lived a foolish king. He lived in a palace and he wanted to be in charge of all the magic in the world. So he set out a brigade of witch hunters and their hounds to capture all witches and wizards in the entire land. He also set out a request for someone with great magical ability
Blah, 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 blah.
to tutor him in the art of magic. Well, no sensible witch or wizard would ever do something like that, turn themselves over to the king. So, a cunning charlatan came to the king and proclaimed his great and intense magical ability. He also requested the king give him lots of gold, rubies and other things that he said could use and help in his magical doings. Of course, none of this he actually needed. He just asked the king for it. So the king went away into his palace, and the charlatan stowed all of his money and all the riches that the king gave him in his own little hovel. Then he went to the palace and took a twig, snapped it in half, and gave one half to the king. Little did he know that through all of this time, a little washerwoman who lived at the palace, named Babbity Rabbity, had been watching him and saw all of these things happen. So the charlatan proceeded in teaching the king all about all of his magic. They proceeded in foolish dances and hopping around and many unorthodox things.
Blah, 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 blah.
And from afar, the king and the charlatan heard a cackling sound. It was Babbity the washerwoman, and she was amused at all of the things they were doing to try and gain magical ability. I must look very foolish, said the king, for that woman to cackle so. When will I be able to produce real magic? Well, the charlatan said, it will only happen when you are worthy of it. Well, it stung the king more than the charlatan knew. So he said, tomorrow we will put together all of the kingdoms and we will show them my magical ability. The charlatan knew his time was up. Oh, I forgot, you cannot do it tomorrow. I am leaving. You will not leave, or else I will have the hounds tear you apart, and you will be no more. So,
Thanks.
the king went away into his palace and told all of the people about how there was a great gathering the next morning.
Blah, 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 blah.
The charlatan was very worried, for he knew that he could not do the king. He saw her polishing her wand while her sheets folded themselves in the corner. He knew that she was a true witch. So he told her that she must give the king all of the magic that he was doing at the event the next morning, or else he would pronounce her as a witch to the witch hunters. So she agreed, and when they had the gathering where the king was there and all of the subjects were there, Babbity hid in a bush over in the corner. Now, the king got up very high and he decided, first off, that he would make a lady's hat disappear. So Babbity pointed her wand and made the hat disappear, and the king thought it was his own. Then he made his very own horse float high in the air. And all of the kings and everyone that was there cheered. Woo! Then one of the guards told him that his hound had died that day, so he should bring him back to life. So they heaved the great body of the hound onto the stage, and so then the king pointed his wand, but Babbity did not even bother because she knew no magic could reawaken the dead. The hound just lay there and did nothing, and all of the people in the place knew that it was all just a ruse and that he was not really magic. So the charlatan, knowing he was out of options, pointed at Babbity in the bush and said that she was blocking the king's evil spells with her evil magic. And so everyone chased Babbity while she ran away. All of the king's people chased her. Then, to their astonishment, she disappeared. And they were all very surprised. "Look, she has turned herself into a tree," said the king. "What shall we do?" "We'll cut her down," said the charlatan. So one man took his axe and cut her down. As they were all leaving in triumph, they heard a loud cackling coming from the bush. "You think that you can just cut a witch or wizard down? They will still stay alive even when they are cut down," said Babbity, as a tree. "You can prove it if you cut the charlatan in half." So the king's men were about to cut him in half when he fell down to his knees, crying out and confessing all that he had done.
I'm sorry.
So they hauled him off into jail at the palace. The king was about to leave when he heard a cackling again. You think that you have made amends for your mistake. Oh no, you are never to cut or hurt or persecute any witch or wizard in the entire kingdom, or else it will feel like an axe stroke in your very own side until you wish you could die of it. So the king asked her, "What can I do?" "You can issue a decree never to hurt any witch or wizard in the entire kingdom," said Babbity. So he went and did that. "But you have not made amends to Babbity," said the washerwoman. "You must erect a golden statue on this tree stump, and forevermore I will be remembered in this palace." So the king did as she asked. And as the king left to get the gold, out of the stump hopped a rabbit, holding Babbity's wand in her mouth, and Babbity hopped away and lived happily ever after.